Patriotism, Antisemitism, and the Perils of Extremism, an analysis of contemporary Israeli politics. In recent years, discussions surrounding patriotism, antisemitism, and extremism have become increasingly prevalent, particularly in the context of Israeli politics under the leadership of the Netanyahu clan. This essay aims to analyze the intersection of these themes, exploring how patriotism should not be equated with supremacy, the role of extremist Zionist movements in exacerbating antisemitism, and the implications of Israel's political trajectory on its global standing. Patriotism and supremacy. Patriotism is often misconstrued as a form of supremacy, wherein love for one's country translates into an unjustified sense of superiority over others. However, true patriotism should be rooted in a commitment to the well-being and prosperity of the nation, while also respecting the rights and dignity of all individuals, both domestically and internationally. The conflation of patriotism with supremacy not only distorts its true essence but also fosters division and hostility both within and outside the nation. The Netanyahu clan's tenure in Israeli politics has witnessed a resurgence of nationalist rhetoric, often bordering on supremacist ideologies. This has been evident in policies that prioritize the interests of certain demographic groups over others, as well as in the aggressive expansion of settlements in Palestinian territories. Such actions not only undermine the principles of equality and justice but also fuel tensions both regionally and globally, eroding Israel's moral standing in the eyes of the international community. Antisemitism and extremist Zionism. The rise of antisemitism cannot be divorced from the actions of extremist Zionist movements, which have sought to conflate criticism of Israel's policies with hatred towards the Jewish people as a whole. By equating Zionism with Judaism and conflating legitimate criticism with bigotry, extremist factions within Israel have not only hindered productive discourse but also perpetuated harmful stereotypes and prejudices. The Netanyahu clan's embrace of extremist rhetoric has only exacerbated these dynamics, further polarizing Israeli society and alienating potential allies abroad. By framing dissent as inherently anti-Semitic, the government has stifled dissent and marginalized voices advocating for a more inclusive and just approach to governance. This has not only undermined Israel's democratic foundations but also fueled resentment and animosity towards the state, both within and outside its borders. The Perils of Extremism. The interviewee, Yuval, raises legitimate concerns about the trajectory of Israeli politics under the Netanyahu clan, highlighting the dangers of descending into fascism and lawlessness. The erosion of trust and sympathy towards Israel on the global stage is a direct consequence of its leadership's embrace of extremist ideologies and disregard for international norms and conventions. The election of leaders who prioritize nationalist agendas over the well-being of all citizens has not only alienated Israel from the international community but also undermined its security and stability in the long run. As Yuval rightly points out, Israel risks becoming isolated and ostracized if it continues down this path, jeopardizing its prospects for peace and prosperity in the future. Conclusion. In conclusion, the intertwining of patriotism, antisemitism, and extremism in contemporary Israeli politics poses significant challenges not only for the nation itself but also for global stability and security. Patriotism should never be conflated with supremacy, and legitimate criticism of government policies should not be silenced under the guise of combating antisemitism. Israel's future hinges on its ability to embrace inclusivity, respect for human rights, and adherence to the rule of law rather than succumbing to the allure of extremist ideologies and authoritarianism. As the international community watches closely, the choices made by Israeli leaders will have far-reaching implications for the nation's standing in the world and its prospects for a peaceful and prosperous future.